Hey there, my name is James Lee. Thank you for tuning into my channel 5149, where I talk business and politics from an independent perspective. Today I want to talk about Barack Obama. Now, in my younger days when I was in college, I had this image of Obama, a guy who was just crushing life, meteoric rise to the White House, the inspirational ideas he talked about, his overall swagger. He was just the coolest guy in politics. But beyond that, I thought he had perhaps the most important quality in a public servant, which in my opinion is integrity. The word integrity being defined here by Merriam-Webster as a firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, incorruptibility. To put it simply, I thought he was someone who was fundamentally uncorrupted. Not perfect, but at least genuine and uncorrupted. And looking back, I realized I was so naive and so wrong. In 2008, he inspired so many people by talking about ideas like hope and change, fixing the corruption in Washington, fighting for the working class, ending foreign wars. But it ended up being just a lot of theatrics. He was just about as corrupt as any establishment politician who came before him. In a campaign speech in 2008, Obama said, "Washington is broken. My whole campaign has been premised from the start on the idea that we have to fundamentally change how Washington works." But that didn't happen. In fact, Obama's Hope and Change campaign in 2008 raised more money from the financial community than any other politician in American history. And that Wall Street accounted for 20% of the president's campaign funds because of a massive cash haul from Goldman Sachs, AIG, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Citigroup. So it was no surprise when it was later found out through WikiLeaks that Citigroup chose Obama's 2008 cabinet. 1 month before the presidential election of 2008, the giant Wall Street bank Citigroup submitted to the Obama campaign a list of its preferred candidates for cabinet positions in an Obama administration. This list corresponds almost exactly to the eventual composition of Barack Obama's cabinet. So probably also not a coincidence that Obama chose to bail out the banks instead of the American people following the financial crisis in 2007 and 2008. Researchers at the University of Missouri found that the Federal Reserve gave over $29 trillion to the banks, while 9 million people lost their jobs, 4 million people had their homes foreclosed on, decimating working and middle class Americans. Obama also kept us tangled up in foreign conflicts that we didn't want to be in. According to Pew Research, even veterans didn't feel the wars were worth fighting. So despite vowing to end U.S. military interventions in Iraq and Afghanistan, Obama is the first president to serve 8 years and preside over American wars during every single day of his tenure. Why did that end up happening? I mean, could it be because Obama took a ton of money from defense contractors, outraising his 2008 opponent John McCain by 34% in contributions from that sector? I think so, and so did one of the Democrats' top defense advisors at the time, stating that defense contractors know that contributions lead to access and that access can lead to government contracts, and that he didn't see defense spending declining in the first years of an Obama administration. So there's that, but I would have at least expected that he did right by the African American community and minorities, but that didn't really happen either. Because of his decision to focus the relief efforts after the financial crisis on banks instead of homeowners, a 2013 Center for Responsible Lending study estimated that properties in proximity to a foreclosure shed $2.2 trillion in value, and that half of that loss was in communities of color. He also didn't do a whole lot when it came to racial justice. I want to cite the example of Troy Davis, a black man on death row in the state of Georgia who was widely believed to have been wrongfully convicted. And as Davis's execution drew near on the evening of the 20th of September, people from around the world waited for Obama to say or do something, but in the end, he did nothing. All the terrible things that we're experiencing today in terms of race relations, from George Floyd to Breonna Taylor to so many others, also existed under the Obama administration. I'm not saying that he could have fixed everything, but he didn't really even try. And now, at a recent rally for Joe Biden, Obama said that with Joe and Kamala at the helm, you're not going to have to think about the crazy things they say every day, and that's worth a lot. You'll be able to go about your lives knowing that the president is not going to retweet conspiracy theories about secret cabals running the world, or that maybe Navy SEALs didn't actually kill bin Laden. And by the way, while he's doing all of that, it distracts us from all the truly destructive actions his appointees are doing across the government, actions that affect your lives. He then cites that the EPA is run by an energy lobbyist and that the Labor Department is run by a corporate lobbyist and all kinds of other corrupt behaviors. All true things about the Trump administration. They definitely have no idea what they're doing, and the terrible handling of the pandemic revealed that to everyone. But the level of hypocrisy when it comes to corruption is insane, which is the exact reason why I can't bear listening to him anymore. Because Obama pretty much did the same thing when he was president. All that money from the banks, like I mentioned earlier, almost his entire cabinet was picked by Citibank. The only difference is that he wasn't on Twitter, and that in the future, Joe will simply keep his random platitude generator running on Twitter, while in the background continuing to pursue similar corporate-friendly policies. But I think what upsets me the most about Obama is his lack of self-reflection about his personal shortcomings and the failures of neoliberalism. He's out there getting paid $400,000 per speech on Wall Street with no acceptance of responsibility that perhaps part of the reason why income inequality is worse today than it was when he got into office, and that racial tensions are worse today, endless wars remain endless, was due to his failures, his decision to sell out to the corporate oligarchs who actually run this nation. The reality is that beyond the pandemic, things won't really get much better under Biden. They'll get quieter probably, but not better. I just want to end by saying thanks for listening to my mini rant. It's something that I've wanted to say for quite some time, but have never had the guts to say because it might rub some people the wrong way. I appreciate you for listening, and I'm also curious to hear your thoughts about President Obama. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with someone who you think would enjoy it as well. And please consider subscribing to my channel 5149, where we don't pit the right against the left, but rather discuss ideas that will move all of us forward. My name is James Lee. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week.